What's up YouTube, this is AOC85 here, and bringing you guys a deck profile I want to call the Pied Piper. This deck profile is named after two people, well two things actually. One, the Pied Piper, you know, the folk tale about the pedophile who has a flute and basically controls little kids into coming to his house, sometimes rats, but mostly little kids. You know, it's really funny how when you think about folk tales, how some of them are really terrible, but as a kid they seem awesome. Anyway, yeah, so, and it's also named after R. Kelly, who for some reason calls himself the Pied Piper, and ironically was also indicted for having sex with a minor and peeing on her. So, I guarantee you this deck isn't as sad or sick as those two people. In fact, it's pretty, well, sick, if you mean sick by being awesome, yeah, it kind of is. I want to give a quick shout out to Warliken666, or I believe that's his name. I apologize if I get it wrong, but on his channel he has a similar deck profile. Well, one of his friends did a profile on his channel. I want to give a shout out just to acknowledge the fact that this deck is not my original idea. It's not his idea either. However, I subscribed to him and I wanted to seem like I basically saw the deck and copied it. I saw this deck a while back. When Extreme Victory first came out, I liked it and I've been testing it along with my other decks. I made a copy of this deck, and if you watch that video on Warliken's channel, you'll see that the guy also acknowledges the fact that this is not his build. The guy's build is a carbon copy of the original person's build, who I forget his name, I apologize, but mine has a few tech choices, which I like, and which work for me personally. So, in this video, I'll simply go into the lineup for the discussion, and as usual in my other videos, I'll talk in depth about the monster choices, their effects, spells, and traps. But for now, real quick, just want to give you guys the lineup for the Pied Piper. 3 copies of Caius the Shadow Monarch. 3 copies of Chaos Sorcerer, your 2 boss monsters. 3 copies of Kinkabayo, the first of a long line of level 1 monsters. 3 copies of Magical Merchant, your mill factor, and helps you dig through your deck and makes Pot of Avarice super live. 3 copies of Effect Veiler. Most decks have a problem running 2 copies. This deck can spam 3, and he really is annoying to a lot of cards in the meta. 2 copies of Mystic Piper, the engine of the deck, the main reason why this deck works. I'll talk about his effect later on, but just know that this is one of your draw engines, and one of your sickest draw engines at bat. That he's also a light monster, so he's Chaos food for Chaos Sorcerer. 3 copies of Battle Fader. 1 Tragodia. Tragodia can get very, very powerful in terms of attack in this deck because you have such awesome hand advantage with the combos that it's pretty easy to get him at 3600, sometimes even at 36 plus 6 is 4200 during your turns at times. 1 Glow Up Bulb, 1 Unknown Synchro. For spells, 3 copies of Creature Swap, 2 Mystical Space Typhoon, 2 Pot of Avarice, Dark Hole, Monster Reborn, 1 for 1, and Mind Control. Pretty self-explanatory, but I'll go into in-depth discussion about those cards later. 2 copies of the Golden Apples, trap card that came out in Storm of Ragnarok. 2 copies of Solemn Warning, we all know and love it. 1 copy of Solemn Judgment, and 1 copy of Synchro material. So, that's the deck lineup. The point of this deck really is to maintain superior hand advantage using the Mystic Piper, Formula Synchron, and Pot of Avarice to keep on drawing cards. Magical Merchant allows you to mill your monsters to be able to recycle them with Pot of Avarice. The Golden Apples is a defensive card that gives you, tokens, level 1 tokens, because all your monsters revolve around being level 1. Or most of your monsters are level 1, and this deck revolves around having lots of level 1 monsters. And it goes passive, and then this explodes, summoning 3 Chaos Sorcerers, a Caius the Shadow Monarch, sometimes going to Stardust, sometimes going to Shooting Star, sometimes even going to Shooting Quasar. But yeah, this deck is really fun. I'm beginning to think it can be very highly competitive. I won't say that yet because obviously it hasn't topped any. It's not that popular. It hasn't really topped any regionals or anything like that or YCSs. But it has a lot of potential, and I'm still playing around with it. but I like it a lot. So yeah, guys, this is Pied Piper, Mystic Piper Synchro. Some people call it Mystic Piper Control. But this is the deck. Thank you, as usual, for watching, for subscribing. I appreciate all the channel views, all the comments, positive or negative. Thank you for correcting me when I'm wrong and letting me know about information, guys. I really appreciate it. As usual, write all your comments below. If you have more longer or more personal messages, send me private message or PMs on YouTube. I will do my best to answer back as soon as possible. Please keep on reading, please comment, and keep on subscribing. And I'll do the monster, spell, and trap lineup deck discussions for this video right afterwards. So thank you. And don't forget, today is June 14th, which I dubbed the Lost Sanctuary Day, because the structure deck has come out. Just in case you didn't see my other video. Peace out, YouTube.